Hi, I'm Anita Sanborn. I'm the president of the Colorado Episcopal Foundation. And as you know, we work with parishes all around the diocese on stewardship programs. But what I really want to get us away from is thinking about stewardship as a program. I want to share something from Eric Law's book, Holy Currencies. So what are these holy currencies? Because we often think of money as the only currency. But Eric Law describes 6. They are time and place, leadership, relationship, truth, wellness, and money. So how do we move from program-based thinking to one that is really centered on people, on relationships, moving from an internal focus to an external focus? Here's a great example. So let's listen to the Reverend Carol Meredith. She's the rector at St. Stephen's in Aurora.
I came to St. Stephen's in 2009. One of the things that we began to look at St. Stephen's was what the demographics of our neighborhood really is. The more we looked at the community and used the mission insight information, the more we discovered that the population here is a growing Latino population. We discovered that we have a growing population of refugees, and currently we are aware that those populations are growing specifically with the Nepalese and the Burmese and the Somalis.
For several weeks now, we have had some Nepalese women walking through our parking lot. They live across the ditch from where we are, where this church is. And we have been filming in the backyard this afternoon. Today, about a half a dozen of them came by, and we simply stopped and I went out. And they greeted me, and I believe it was a God thing, because in their midst was a young woman who is Nepalese who speaks English. And so I was able to have a conversation with them and invite them to pick the crab apples, which are now ripe. I believe that God has had these people walking through this yard so that I could say, you can have the crab apples, they belong to all of us. I just found that conversation to be a beautiful moment on holy ground.
There was a lot of things that we needed to learn about being a multicultural and inclusive community. One of the things we became aware of was that children are hungry all year. And the idea that we could only do the Totes for Hope program when the school was open was a challenge for us. And working with Totes for Hope, which is a food program with the local elementary school here, we made the decision to bring that program into the church. And that made a huge difference, because even as we're talking right now, they are handing out the food to the families from the neighborhood who walk here or drive here and pick up the bags. And that interaction and that development of relationships really began to change the hearts of the people at St. Stephen's who were interacting. When we came then and it was time to sign up for summer camp, that year we had 45 children. We literally doubled our population. The following year we had 64. I think the highlights of what we're about is the focus on families and children and hunger and homeless. But here at St. Stephen's, the focus became on not just feeding them with the food from Totes for Hope, but recognizing that feeding their need for information and education and feeding their souls through relationships were really becoming our primary focus.
I knew about St. Stephen when I was working with the PTO. One of the days when I attend summer camp, I thought St. Stephen will be a nice place for us to study and start GED classes here. I just feel so excited. Since that day, she's supporting us with adult education, not just GED. We have the opportunity to have CPR classes here at St. Stephen.
Another holy currency that can really help you shift your parish approach is to use the holy currency of truth. It's never really my truth versus your truth. What we're really trying to shift to is dialogue and mutual understanding.
I think the other thing that was a huge issue for us, and I think is pretty normal, is we don't know anything about our neighbors. We don't know anything about their culture. We don't know anything about them. All we hear is what's on the media, and that is not very positive. It's always negative, it's always fear-based, and very discriminatory. We have a team here that developed a concept called culture quarters. For 3 months or 4 months, several times a year, we specifically focus on a different culture. And so our first culture quarter was Asia. We looked at some videos about the way people think differently in East and Western culture. We ate Asian food. The next culture was the Middle East, so we visited the synagogue. We had peoples come in from the Muslim society. They came in twice. But we didn't just focus on cultures that have to do with different nations. We focused on cultures that are common. So we had a panel come here who talked about issues for our gay and lesbian and transgender people, because that's a culture that we don't know much about.
The average question is, are they coming to church? And we had to learn to leave that alone. No, they're not coming to church. We don't speak Spanish worship. What we are doing was partnering with them and asking them, how can we be your neighbor? And how can we build a safe neighborhood where hope lives?
One of the things that people will say is, well, you can't do that because you don't know how. You don't know how to speak Spanish, you don't know about cultures, you don't have the resources, we don't have the money. If I keep listening to that, we won't do anything. The church will never reach out. And I'm going to reiterate what I said before. With God, things are possible if you trust that this is what God is calling you to do.
Let's think about wellness as another holy currency. I want to give you a few examples. Think about a blood drive, a yoga class, community garden, a parenting class for young moms. St. Stephen's is offering a Zumba class, and they're doing this in partnership with the Lowry Health Clinic. So here there's an exciting way for a ministry to develop around a wellness issue.
The new partnerships that we developed by looking at community resources, and I discovered a wonderful one for us called the Lowry Family Services. And they partner with us and they provide programs here, educational programs for Nurturing Parent, for Zumba for health, Zumbini for children for health, a diabetes prevention class, a cooking class for healthy living.
I'm Sydney and I go to Thomas Jefferson High School. The programs at St. Stephen's are really cool. Today I saw the Zumba class and it was very interesting seeing all the people like actually having fun and interacting with each other, dancing.
One of the things that I've discovered about moving a church from being inwardly focused with some outreach into the community is that when you begin to look predominantly out and look at the neighborhood as a resource and your neighbors as people who have gifts to give to you that you can share with one another, you can truly become partners. But with that brings then a real shift in our understanding of what it means to be church, and it pushes us out of our comfort zone. What I have learned is that in order to be able to provide the things that the community wants, one, I have to ask them what they want, because partnership is not about the church going in and saying, I'm simply going to give you a meal. It's about how do I help you get what you need to provide for yourself? And I realized very quickly, I cannot provide them with GED in Spanish so they can get their degrees. I cannot provide them English as a second language. I cannot provide them with some of the health activities that the moms want or the nurturing parent programs. So for me, it was beginning to realize that it's partnerships that I need in the community. We are already in partnership with Lynn Knoll Elementary and have been for all of these years, and that's a significant partnership. We now have a partnership with St. Mark's ELCA. We're in partnership with them for youth and family ministry and in some of our outreach into the community.
Hi, my name is Kenna Nordstrom, and I'm the new Director of Youth and Family Ministry here at St. Stephen's, also with St. Mark's Lutheran Church. I just really love the fact that we have that partnership with St. Mark's, that it's not just about this is our church and that's their church, but that we actually see that there are things that both congregations have to offer, that we can actually work together for the greater good.
To really be the church, you need to be about helping people live healthy, full lives where they know they're of value. And people want to be healthy, people want to be good parents, and I found that to be across the board. It doesn't matter what your nationality is or what your papers say, we all share the same things in common.
Hi, my name's Melody.
Janet.
My name's Annette.
I'm Rejoice.
I'm Joy.
We are the Red Door. We started out as a youth group, and soon we were a band, and soon we were taking popular songs and just turning them into just something, Christian songs that we could relate to.
So I've been trying to do it right, trying to live a decent life. I've been praying up to Him. Does He even listen? Even listening?
Stewardship involves all these holy currencies. So by now you understand that we're talking about much more than money. We're just trying to give you a taste today so that you can explore these in your own parish.
And asking that question, is the church really dying? For me, yes it is. it's not dying to cease to exist, it's dying for new birth. I believe that churches are being called to wake up. We are being called to do things differently. I think there will always be a place for the traditional church. I think there's a beauty in that the world needs. But what the world is telling us is we need more. It's your programs that are not just programs, they're ministry because you're involved in them. The programs we offer here that are ministries are the programs where we interact with the families, where we are doing something that will lift them up and help them to claim their power in the neighborhood and consider us friends, resources. What I've learned here is our liturgy truly, truly is the place where we come back on Sunday to celebrate what we've done all week long, where we have actually done what Jesus did and been out in our communities, gotten to know the people, laughed with them, cried with them, being challenged by them, and then we come back on Sundays to be fed and to thank God for that. And I believe that God is saying, out of that heritage and out of that understanding, the world is your focus.